Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League F1 Grand Prix here in Japan. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Horn Badger. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you very much. How's things?
Great, you know, it's the Japanese Grand Prix. It's a beautiful circuit, and we have a very tight battle for the driver standings too. Hypers currently P1 with 288. Nicholas Longe, a lot to do. 235 between them. 235 points is what he's got. There's about 50 between them, 53. Infamous in P3, Preshnida P4, Brownie P5, Yolta P6, Yonta P7, Pampena P8, Wormels P9, and Get On in the top 10. It's still close though. The top 10 are the ones that can stay going into the next season. Those outside of the top 10 have to fight for their right to stay. And that is Camille, Yenab, Samidia, Zones, Copy, Danny, Just Chillin', Beaker, Tom, and Dennis. The Constructors is also very tight too. We know the Mercedes have been topping it for quite a long time. Haas are making their comeback with the points that they gained last week, but Racing Point are the ones that are separating the two of them. Mercedes, 342 points is where they sit currently at the top. Racing Point, 282, so they still have a long way to go. And Haas, 280. They are right on the heels of Racing Point, ready to go. Renault P4, Torosso P5, Alpha P6, and the rest behind. This is the circuit they're going to be attacking today. It is a 3.6 mile run with 18 turns in total. Only one DRS on here, and it's not really going to play that much of a factor, as the majority of the overtakes will be done into 130R, as you're going to see when we get to the Esport Works hotspots. This circuit will give you plenty of overtaking opportunity, and one of the main ones is going to be in towards turn 1. We saw Wemmels and Lemon having a bit of a scrap going into it in turn 1 season 3. We saw that Wemmels just getting sent out for a little bit too wide. Now turn 18, Blue and Copy. They had a right run into the final chicane, and it was Blue and Wemmels that were trying to hold each other together. And that bump there through the final corner, you can see the cars off on the left hand side, I'm a bit of an issue there. The hot lap rundown. So here we go then, Yonti. In towards turn 1, it's very awkward. It's very late on the brakes. Actually not that hard onto them too. You need to just clip the inside very nicely too for turn 2. And then coming into it left and right into the S section. Left again and right again. This is the hard part. You got to make sure you don't make mistakes here. Bit too early on the accelerator. Can use the binner here through the Dunlop curve. Keep the left-handers beautiful and nice and tight on the lines. And then now you're into the Degners. The first and the second. Brake hard now into the second one. Get yourself down to gear 4, gear 3. And then leave quite nicely. Up towards the hairpin then. Brake right when you see the orange marker on the right. And get yourself nicely down to gear 2. If you need the extra rotation, gear 3 if you're feeling very confident. And away we go. Up towards Spoon then. Long right-hander to go to it. Make sure you get nicely over to the right-hand side. Brake when you see the 50-meter board and get us down to 2 or 3 gears. So around about gear 5, gear 6, depending on how comfortable you are. Get the exit here because it's so crucial. This is the long run towards the 130R. You need to make sure that you keep it very, very tight. If you go side by side with someone into the 130R, one of you is very likely going to be sent off wide, especially as we come in towards the hardest section of the circuit. When you brake hard, 100-meter board, if you're going side by side here into the awkward chicane, you need to make sure your exit is clean as well. We saw in the F2 cars how it can really make a difference, and we're going to see it again now as we come across the line, and Yonti will show us how it's done. Now we're going to see it for the real thing. Time's been set. We have Hypers currently topping the board with a 126.906, Infamous in P2, Camille in P3.
Yep, and everyone's out on the softs except for Just Chillin', Safso, and Tom. Tom is actually running around on the hard tyres, which is an interesting choice. Maybe just getting a few sighter laps in, getting the feel for the car and for the conditions before he sets a medium or soft run.
No PTSD today. I'm told it's going to be a full dry race, so we don't even need to worry about whether there's going to be any wets. Whatever tyres they come on the qualifying lap on is what they're going to be doing in the race, if you're in the top 10. Right now, it's currently Hypers leading it, and he's quite the way up there. He's about a 10th ahead of Infamous, and 2 tenths ahead of Camille. Felix, by the way, is Brownie, in case you're wondering. I know that's may come as a shock to you, but he does actually have a real name.
That is definitely a shock. I was looking at that, trying to find if he had been replaced for this race, but good to know, good to know.
I did have to ask, in all fairness. I had no idea that was actually his real name. I just completely went... Is that him? I see a Renault driver. Must be Brownie. Yenab currently setting a lap right now with also Preshnida on a similar boat. Preshnida is currently working his way behind Yenab, so Yenab will actually be the first one to get it, and he has to make sure this run is very quick through 130R. It's quite an easy corner, to be honest, especially when you haven't got a lot of fuel on board. You can just literally turn, and that's it, job done. But the run through the final chicane is quite a clean one. Make sure you brake on the left-hand side and get yourself onto that curb on the inside. Do not cut it too hard because you will A, invalidate if you're in qualifying, or B, very harshly penalized in the race. If you do that and the game punishes you, you will get, we're talking like a 5-second penalty, just straight up. They're not even going to be any softer on it. You know, the stewards, they can overrule it, but, you know, it's still cutting the corner. You will still likely get a warning. May even get yourself a penalty.
Yep, and the problem with getting penalties is that sometimes you actually have to serve them if it's a large enough cut and get the 5 seconds or 10 seconds. If you have to serve that in the pits, then the stewards cannot do anything after the race.
So we have a couple of drivers coming to the line. We have our current driver, Zones, who's going to be going across the line to start hot lap, along with Beaker in tow. Next is Tom, a bit further back. He's currently, again, like you said, on hard tyres. He's doing a 1:29.7, so he's still got a fair amount of pace in there, but he is still 3 seconds away from Paul, although, you know, being on the hard tyres, the grip in these is minimal. You hardly get anything out of them, so it's no surprise that is the boat we're in. Infamous is coming behind them as well for his new hot lap. We'll see what he can do as we go further into it.
Yep, and with Tom, he's being two compounds out of what the rest of the guys are running. It shows that he should be kind of in the sharp end of things come the soft tyre run if he doesn't like to put it on.
Right then. We're seeing that Infamous is out there right now, has got a chance to probably put himself up and in front of Hypers. We saw how close they battled in Russia last week, and it was a really exciting end to the Grand Prix, where Hypers did still come out on top, but he really had to work for it in the end. Nicholas Longe is here. He is currently in P19 because he has a qualifying ban, so he'll be sat there. If you remember, the last time he had a qualifying ban was in Britain. He went from dead last to finishing the line in first place. Like, bear that in mind. If he'd have done it without penalties, that would have been the most tremendous gain we've ever seen in RNL. So we'll see if he can maintain that into this sort of race. I've not seen how quick he can be around Japan, so, you know, I'm a bit skeptical to see if he's going to be able to recreate that. However, that doesn't mean that he's out of this by any stretch of the imagination. It's just he's got a lot of traffic to get through, and he cannot afford to make mistakes and get penalties.
Yeah, the thing is, Nicholas is fast wherever he goes. Any circuit, any track around the world, he'll be able to put in a good time. Whether he could be faster than the guys in front and take everyone in the field, that would be quite an achievement. But if there's one driver on this grid that can do it, it's definitely Nicholas, as he's shown in Britain.
Well, Infamous crosses the line and does take provisional pole. It's a 1:26.848. So it's only slightly faster, and then Hypers goes and raises the bar that bit more. He's a 1:26.665 currently out there on the softs. So I imagine that they're only going to be qualifying on the softs here today. I don't know if they're going to go softs mediums. I think that strategy is actually pretty viable, but they may have to go for the softs hards should it come to it. Again, it's a question of, though, how much pace will you lose on the hards? Will you actually lose more than if you just did a two-stop strategy? It may work here. I'm not quite sure on the tyre degradation is. I really couldn't tell you what strategy is optimal. But I imagine if you want to go for just the one stop, I reckon the soft hards is probably the best solution no matter what, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, these guys will know best, so I guess we'll see come race trim. But just a little update. Hypers actually has the fastest Sector 1, Sector 2 and Sector 3. So right now he's actually a 10th faster in Sector 3. And bear in mind, Sector 3 is basically two corners. It's a 16-second sector, and he's a full 10th faster than anyone else near him. So that's a very good lap from him, and now he's thrown the gauntlet down for the rest of the pack to chase him.
Now, I was seeing the Mercedes boys actually giving each other a bit of a tow there, but it looked like it earned actually invalidated. Now the Renault boys are doing the same thing as per usual. It's Felix, or Brownie, giving Yolta the tow. This is actually a circuit I've seen Yolta be very quick at, so keep an eye out for him. I don't think he's going to necessarily be on pole. You know, I'm not saying that for a second, but this is really still a circuit where he can actually raise his skill level up and show he is currently a 27.174 level driver.
Yeah, that's a good lap time from him there. It's I think he can be happy as that just for his banker, but you know, for the final run, maybe he can get an extra 10th or 2 out of it. See if he can just get every little bit of performance out of that car.
Lots of cars still out on circuit. A fair few of them are going to be coming back in on this lap as we are nearing that favourite time of the zone for me. I love that time, honestly. It really gets you all excited going into the race. You know what's coming. It's about to be a very, very fun race nonetheless. Yenab currently out there trying to improve his already existing time of 1:27.757. And we look currently at the gap to the leader. The top 14 are all within 1 second of the race leader. P15 is only just outside of it along with P16, but then there's quite a jump after that. But if you look at the best tyres, only JSC actually did his on softs. Everyone else, well, I say everyone, there's only Safso and Tom, but they did it on harder compound tyres, mediums or hards, whatever. So there's still plenty of time to be gained here. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yep, it's right now, as I said, Hypers has set down the benchmark, but the top three pretty close together. You know, if Nicholas was setting his time in, he would as well be up there. So, and again, Camille just a little bit further behind, but I'm sure he can break into that 26-second margin and bring it to the guys in front.
Definitely. I think it's safe to say it is now the calm before the storm, as pretty much every driver is in the pits currently right now, prepping themselves for that final push, working out what tyre strategy they want to go on. Mainly for those outside the top 10 right now, they're going to be working out whether or not they want to start on the mediums, and if they can even put in a time that would get themselves into that top 10 on the mediums. I am looking here at the likes of Nicholas Longe. Yes, again, he can't pit, but when it comes to the tyre strategy, he can go for that harder tyre strategy. Whether he's going to go for the hards to start with and then take it to the end and go to the softs and then just absolutely nail it, who knows? But he is going to be in prime position to really send it.
Yeah, I mean, Nicholas could actually really utilise a potential safety car here, because going into turn one, that's going to be quite spicy. And if he's on the medium or hard tyres come the safety car, he can just stay out, gain plenty of positions as everyone dashes into the pits, and then when it does come time for him to make his stop, admittedly with have an extra stop, but he'll have gained pace on all those that were behind him during the safety car phase. So it might work out for him, but it would really need to push those tyres to the limit come the safety car coming in.
The Alpha Boy is giving each other the tow. Samidia is going to be looking very quick. He is actually going to run out of VRS before he even gets to the line, so that's not going to be great news for him, but he did burn a lot there. That bump almost destabilizing him a little bit. He crosses the line, he does improve, but he only puts himself P7. It's 1:27.283, 400ths of a second behind Felix. Or Brownie, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be making that mistake once or twice this race. But yeah, I think that ERS maybe cost him a tenth or so, but yeah, it's unfortunate. He didn't set a faster Sector 3 than he did the previous lap, so it certainly cost him some time, but whether it would have gained him the position on Brownie once Brownie manages to set his lap, remains to be seen. Usually, as you say, the Renault boys are good for doing the tow, so I imagine it's Brownie's turn to get pulled along that straight and see if he can gain anything.
Now, if I can draw your eyes to the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see that there is actually a lot of their teammates out ahead of them. So I'm looking at the Renault boys, who's currently one of them has made a big mistake. He's right there off the circuit. There's also a Mercedes driver out there too, and there's also the Toro Rosso and Haas guys prepping themselves for a potential big towing session. As Hypers is currently running up towards the hairpin, ready to finish his final run. Potentially, he might go for a second. I highly doubt it on these soft tyres. You're going to need to keep the tyre life as good as possible. However, you can see just a little bit further up, entering Spoon now, is the teammate of Geton, and they will have rehearsed this tow right the way down towards 130R.
Yep, and it was actually Brownie who spun out, but Yelter has held it up just so he can still give him the slipstream. So he waited for him to get back on track, but now as you can see, that's the Mercedes boys doing this absolutely to perfection, just getting that extra bit of performance out.
Yeah,
that was well timed. Very well timed to get out of the way.
Oh, is he invalidated? That was a hard cut there. I don't know if it's actually invalidated. The track mode didn't go red. Is it going to improve? It was faster, but he did invalidate, yeah.
Yep.
That's sad. Very sad. That could have been easily improvement.
Yep, and that would have been 126.5, which certainly could have put him in a very comfortable zone. The rest of the guys behind him have got now a slightly easier target to hit.
Yeah, the McLaren boys are out on that lap right now. Sorry, go on.
Infamous just didn't make it past the time that Hypers has already set. Infamous was at 126.698 now. So he's an improvement of about 0.2, but not fast enough.
No, sadly not. Dennis ready to go on his hot lap. We have Beaker coming as well, but he's a bit further up the circuit. He's not going to be getting a tow from his teammate. He's just trying to do his own thing. But Camille, representing Racing Point, does a 126.624. And bear in mind, he did that without a tow.
Yep, that was an incredible lap type from Camille. And as I say, Hypers will be kicking himself now for that invalidation.
Or did he actually? No, he might have actually given him a tow. I think he may have actually received a tow. I think Nicholas actually came out, did a singular lap, and then gave Camille the tow. But obviously he has a quality ban, so he can't do a time himself. That's very, very well played if that's the case.
Yep, I believe this might have been brought up earlier in the season if you were allowed to do that, and we said it was cheeky, but I don't think it was outright banned. So, interesting. If he did get the tow there, that's certainly helped him. But as I say, for Racing Point, that was definitely the correct move.
Yeah, one of the key drivers is coming across the line now. Remember, Yonti did finish P4. This is a battle for the constructors overall. Yonti will cross the line, and he will improve. He goes P8 by 4 thousandths. He get knocked down, though, immediately. Zone's P5, Yolta P6. This is looking very good.
Very good indeed. And here comes Safso just crossing the line, but I don't think that was an improvement, or maybe it had an invalidation. It's in P18.
Dennis cannot improve. He stays P13. We have Williams as well across the line. I believe that was Copy, who will go P13. We have now the Alpha coming to it. This is Yenab. How is he going to fare? He's 3/10 faster, and he jumps to P6. What a leap that is. But they're so close together. You gain a 10th or two, and you can get in so many places. This is great news for these guys. Anybody else out on a hot lap? No, that's it. It's done. That is qualifying over. So Camille will start on pole position, and this is the biggest Racing Point sandwich you have ever seen.
Yep, absolutely. And as I say, Crow will be kicking himself for the quality ban that he's received for quite a simple reason. He left the session early last time, but now he's got all the work to do. But Camille absolutely representing for the Racing Point.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Okay, so Camille P1, Hypers P2, Infamous P3. That's how we're going to fare into this race, and it's so close between them. There's very, very little DRS for them to really gain from. There's a lot of opportunity for action to be carrying out throughout this entire Grand Prix. The top 4 drivers all together within less than a 10th. Bear that in mind. That's nuts. Absolutely incredible. Zones P5, Yoneb P6, Yolta P7, Felix or Brownie P8, Samidi at P9, Yonti rounding out the top 10, Geon getting best of the rest with Buemels in P12. Copy P13, Danico P14, Dennis P15, Beaker P16, Just Chillin P17, Safso 18th, and Tom 19th, with Nicholas Longe not able to set a time on the board, will stay in 20th place. But something to note is Tom actually didn't get a time done on the softs or the mediums. He did his on the hards, so that's why he's so far down. Doesn't mean, though, that he's not going to be able to carry that through into the race. He should be able to choose whatever, well, he will be able to choose whatever tyre strategy he wants, but if he can maintain pace, if he can actually really take off, this could be looking very good for him.
Yep, and interesting to note, Schneider set the fastest sector 1, Infamous set the fastest sector 2, and Camille set the fastest sector 3. So every one of them has taken a little bit of the track to themselves.
Yep, and this is looking amazing. I actually really, really can't wait for this to kick off. Great scenes here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Fingers crossed this all goes well. Coming in towards turn 1, you got to make sure that you keep it clean. You got to make sure you keep the inside line as tight as you possibly can. You cannot afford for anything to go wrong. Remember, this is very important. Now, everybody's on the grid right now, prepping themselves for the start of this Grand Prix, choosing how much fuel they want to take on board, choosing what tyre strategy they're going to go on if they're outside of the top 10, and how they're going to play this out, full stop. All right, then, here we go then. So it's going to be Camille taking us away with the formation lap. It's going to be Hypers behind, and Mr. Badger, I need to ask you straight up, 1, 2, 3, what you got?
I think Hypers can probably take this, but I think Infamous is going to be right behind him. Camille, I think, is probably going to lose out on the podium. probably to Presneider. So I think the racing points are probably going to come in 4th and 5th. I think Crow is going to get through the pack and get right up there.
I want to see him be able to do a last 2 high points position finish, at least. Ideally, a podium would be crazy. But, we can only wait and watch to see what happens. Camille leading it. I think you're right. Maybe he will lose out a podium, but I think it's going to be more down to penalties than anything, if I'm being honest, because this is a guy who tends to get a lot of penalties when it comes to his racing. Great driver, lots of skill, lots of potential to still yet be unlocked, but just needs to rein it in a little bit, keep themselves locked in onto his consistency, and then maintain that pace, and he is set.
Yep, that's the problem that you've got with a lot of the drivers right now, is that they're just making a few too many mistakes in terms of the corner cutting mostly, and it just racks up those penalties, the 3 seconds, and that can cost you with the pack being as tight as it is. And as you say, a 10th between the top 4, that's just nuts.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to even think about. Just the lap times they're doing alone is mind-boggling. Then you see the fact that they're currently doing what they're currently doing, which is being so close to each other under such a small margin. It's just insane. So we'll see how this fares off later. However, Camille will get the opportunity to defend hard going in towards turn 1. Hypers will be looking to take it away from him as quickly as possible. And Infamous, he's the guy who tends to watch them and see it all unfold. What is his game plan here? Is he going to send it through the inside, or is he just going to watch it all crumble away and he can take it? I mean, bear in mind, this guy looks after his ERS like no one else. This guy protects that right the way to the end and then dumps it all if he wants to. Sometimes he doesn't always deploy it where he should. And he has cost him in the past, but that doesn't mean necessarily anything when we come into this Grand Prix. Right then, they're all in their boxes. It's going to be Camille leading us away, but he's on the outside towards turn 1. He needs to get the best start he's ever had. And it's go time here in Japan then. So Camille, you have got a good start. Hypers has already joined you too. Infamous is already alongside. There's contact between them. A little bit of wobble left Hypers. Infamous is trying to stick it around the outside in towards turn 2 as well. How is he going to hold this? I don't think he can. He cannot. And that is Hypers back up there. We are seeing cars at the back having issues. That's Beaker falling down the order. He's actually had some contact, it looks like, and he's lost his car. But I don't think he's actually got wing damage. He's just struggling with the rears somehow.
Yep, Copy in front of him actually does have wing damage, so they might be not coming together.
We actually have a safety car lap 1, but nobody has DNF'd. Interesting. Can I just say though, Nicholas Longate up to P15, but look at his right wing. His wing is in bits. He's got no elements on the right side. He's got no end plate on the right side. He's going to have to take a trip to the pits yet again. Don't know what caused it. I imagine if there's damage on the right side of Nicholas and there was a resulting Beaker getting rotated too. He also has a missing right end plate, does Beaker, so he's also been infected. Copy has missing wing as well. I think he's missing both end plates on his car. Let's see. Yeah, no, he's missing the right. That's the only thing. He's missing Saf, so I think he's kept himself clean. Yes, he has. Just Chillin's in the same boat. Tom's missing left end plate, so there's a lot of wing that has come off on these cars here. How's Danica? Yep, he's all good. Dennis, I think he might be fine too. Let's have a look. Where are you, Dennis? Here he is. He survived, and he's P13 with a full wing.
Yep, that's as I say, the few bits of damage around the track, but it looks like right now Camilla's coming into the pits, so he's probably going on the hard tyres. And I think Nicholas needs to do the same. I don't think he can stay out.
Camille getting a speeding penalty for driving into the pit lane just that bit too fast, and now yes, he'll be able to take these to the end potentially if he goes onto the hards. He has chosen to go onto the mediums though, so the likelihood is he's going for a 2-stop strategy. Hard tyres being chucked on a couple of drivers, unsurprisingly on the Haas drivers, they've both gone for it. Yonti getting held up a lot more than he necessarily wanted, but he's still P16, maybe even more than that, P15, 14. Is he going to climb past some idiot? Don't think he is. I think he's going to stay where he is. Yes, P14.
Yep, and that's medium tyres for Nicholas as well, so maybe these medium can go the end. I would be surprised, but yeah, I mean, we've been wrong before about how long the tyres will last, so
yeah.
If Nicholas says that they can last till the end, then let's believe him and they'll last until the end.
Surely he's going to be going for a 2-star strategy now. He's got to. You know, he's got the wing replacement as well. He needs the soft tires later. He needs all the pace he can get. Going on to another, from mediums to softs sounds like the best option here, I think. Going to the hards would have been difficult. I think he has got the pace and the skill and consistency to make that last the tires all the way to the end. But I just think that it's just not the right strategy. Hards are so uncomfortable on a circuit like this where you need that grip. You need that aero as well. And I think anybody who's chucked the hards on now will be losing out quite drastically. I reckon, anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll find out. Camille and Hypers obviously came in, put the medium tyres on. Infamous came in, put the hards on. So it's a bit of a split strategy going on just now, with them kind of half and half really for everyone that came into the pits and which tyre they put on. Basically, everyone 9th and below came into the pits and changed their boots. So we'll see which of these strategies is superior. But both Nicholas and Hypers have elected to try for the medium tyre.
Interesting. 2 drivers who haven't pit started on the soft tyres. Preschneider in P1 now, Yolta in P2. So clearly they know something that the others don't, as they've decided to continue on this tyre strategy. And they're more likely to go softs hards, I think is what the plan is here. They're going to gain a few extra laps out of the softs because of the fact the safety car is here, so they're not really burning any tyre wear at all managing these. They will make it even easier for them to go onto the hard tyres if they should do that. They may even still go to the mediums, who knows. They might actually just substitute the softs out, chuck on the mediums, carry on as much as possible, and just see what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting. As I say, 18 other, of all the soft runners, they're the only 2 that have left. They've got 18 guys behind them that are on a completely different compound to them. So once a safety car comes in, they need to bolt and get themselves as much of a gap between themselves and get owned as possible.
Indeed. Right then. I think this lap is the lap where we're going to be bringing ourselves back in. We'll see when we get to the start of Sector 3, and it's going to be down to Preschneider to dictate how this gets restarted. Is he going to play the long game? Is he going to really back off and see how much he can hold them back and wait for the safety car to get into the pit lane and then bolt it as soon as he can? The other issue you got is there's not really an area for you to properly go for it, unless it's such a short run from the start of Sector 3 to where the start line is. You can't really afford to not just go for it the second the opportunity is available, because look at it. If the safety car's coming in, we'll find out right about now. Yes, it is. And now we're going to see where Preschneider is going to go. Is he going to wait from here right the way up to that final chicane and then just bolt as soon as he gets to it? But that safety car's not really gone that far forward yet.
Yeah, you really need to slow down a little bit more than that. Give it time to go, but here we go. Time for the restart.
Yep. Slow, and off he goes then. So safety car's just come in now. It's Preschneider who's going to be restarting this Grand Prix. Yolta's gained on this too. He's right here on the back of him. And he's not really lost anything at all. I mean, Get-Earn is a bit further back than he necessarily thought he was going to be. But this is so good for these guys on the softs. They can just bolt away, carry on maintaining this pace. If Yolta can stay with Preschneider, he's going to gain a hell of a lot come the end of this Grand Prix. Hyper's stuck in P9 right now with Camille looking for Safso. If he can find a way through, he will take it as soon as that opportunity comes. But bear in mind, he does still have that penalty applied for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's certainly put a dampener on his race, but I don't think he actually served it. He still came out in front of Hypers, so that's good for him in that regard. That will allow him to hopefully build up a gap to the guys once he does get overtaking them. So if he can build up a 5-second gap to those guys behind him, he won't really miss out despite having that penalty.
I want to see how Infamous fares among this battle here. Safso's had a little bit of a poor exit there through the hairpin, sorry. And now look how close Camille is to the back of Safso. He's practically in his gearbox. That's how much he's close to him. Hyper's looking for it too. They are going side by side in towards Spoon. He's going to send him wide, and Hypers is coming down the inside. This is a move and a half from Hypers. He saw the window of opportunity. He snatched it, shot back onto that racing point. And I don't think now Camille can do anything other than just sit here. He's going to try and take the outside line into 130 yard. This is where your over-aggression just comes into it. Just back out a little bit. Let him just keep it for now and fight him again later. He's going around the outside into the chicane. This is a very difficult move to maneuver, and he's gone off onto the runoff area. He's still there. But that was oh no, he's off! big mistake from getting on the grass, and he's got rotated. Into the wall he goes. I think he's now missing a right end plate. Big. Oh, he's got it. He's still kept it, but that's a big mistake there from Camille.
And here's the Infamous going down on Hypers as well. This is getting really spicy as everyone's trying to get past Safso. A big, as you say, a big mistake from Camille, and maybe a little bit of a touch from Hypers as he went around the outside. But Infamous is definitely trying to make the most of this situation. He's stuck right there in the Hypers gearbox, but now he's just backing off through the S section, trying to, maintain composure. And then once Hypers makes this move on Safso, Infamous will be right there again, trying to capitalise.
And Safso's still there. He's not lost anything at all. These guys are just battling with each other, and it's costing them lots. Hypers did squeeze Camille very far off, and here comes Hypers into the hairpin. He's going to get a tight line through. He's probably going to get the move done. Or is he? Safso gets a beautiful exit. He's actually holding Hypers back, and look at what this is doing to the train behind. There's a massive gap between Danico and Safso. 3.1 seconds where it is, and it's only getting bigger because the more this battle rages on, the longer that gap is going to keep extending to, although Hypers has finally got through, and Infamous is actually going to look to try and do the same thing. He's going to tow it right the way through, and I don't think Safso is going to have anything to do. Here comes Infamous in towards 130. Yeah, they're going to go side by side. Hypers is going to be stuck on the outside. There's contact. Oh, I thought it was going to be a murder there. That's going to be the second one, but it's going to be another send in towards the chicane. This time, it's not going to be a side-by-side battle. The exit is not going to be there for Infamous, and Hypers will get back in a P7, and I can finally breathe.
Brownie as well has managed to get past Safso. That was a great move from him. And Safso, unfortunately, just the pace of these guys in front has just really caught him out, and he's had to try and get a bit defensive, and that's just allowed Brownie to get through. But Infamous here, he's definitely not going to be letting this battle go. He wants to catch up to the back of Hypers as soon as he can.
Yonti, some idiot, they need to get past Safso ASAP. Yenab in the same boat, just chilling in the same boat. This is actually working for Nicholas Longe a little bit more than it was before. He is there, he's ahead of Zones, but he has got another McLaren ahead of him of Tom 97. They're on the same tyres, they're on the same age of tyres, and they need to get past this pack as quick as possible. There's just nowhere to go, just chilling on the hard tyres. Unsurprisingly, he does tend to go for that longer stint strategy as big send from Tom down the inside. Is he going to actually make that way? He does! Tom 97 into the hairpin, up to P14. Very, very nice manoeuvre.
Tom clearly went to the same driving school as Kobayashi there, and he's made that move work wonders for him in that hairpin. And on here's from Nicholas just trying to get past JC, but stepping back out again. He makes the move stick just to got that little bit extra grip from the medium tyres than JC does in the hards, but that looked a little bit dangerous from Crow there. He could have lost the car completely.
Somebody has managed to get past Safso. Yanti's going to be looking to do the same thing, but he can't do it right here, right now. He's going to have to wait just a little bit longer, but we do have DRS, remember, because this track is dry, and that's the best news that Yanti's heard all day on these hard tyres. Here he goes then. Safso's got the same thing. He's not going to be able to attack him just yet, but he does have to look out behind them because Yenab is coming in very quickly. Tom 97 coming in very quickly, and Nicholas Longe in the same boat, and that gaggle of cars is getting closer and closer as Just Chillin gets himself a time penalty for running out a little bit too wide. Here comes Beaker through as well. I think Copy trying to get past his teammate, but I think they team orders that one, and I think they're staying right where they were.
Yep, and this isn't. The two at the front are not really pulling out a huge gap yet. They're about 3 seconds between Get Owned and Presnide on P1, and it's just, you would think that would have been a little bit further with that those softer boots, but right now, I guess we'll see what happens, but it looks like Get Owned is actually going to be benefiting much more than the two in front.
Tom managing to get past Yenab, a very nice move there from Tom. Again, he is really driving out of his mind today. Bear in mind, he started second to last because he couldn't get a time done on the softs or mediums. He actually did his on the hards, and that's why he stayed so far back. He also has managed to recover a beautiful amount. So well done for him. I have received information from the stewards. Hypers receives a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Camille on lap 4. Huge. Absolutely.
That is a huge penalty.
Huge.
That is huge. I mean, as I say, it did look like there was a little bit of contact, but I couldn't see it correctly. But if that's the case, and that's what the stewards decided, that's massive. That is completely scuppered Hyper's plans. He needs to, have the best race of his life if he's going to try and pull out a 10-second gap. But I don't see that happening.
Nicholas Longe managing to get past Safso and Yenab. Very smoothly done there. And he's already firing one on Yonti. Nicholas Longe has just received the news. By the way, did you know Hypers has got a 10-second time penalty? He goes, what? Okay, I'm gone then. And then just bolts it. He's already passed 2 people. He's already looking to pass a 3rd. He's already trying to keep up with Tom97 as well. Tom97's up in a P11. Life is looking so good for 2 drivers in particular. Nicholas Longe and Tom97.
Yep, that Hyper's penalty is fuel for Nicholas. They have such a spicy rivalry that goes on between them that, you know, he will be absolutely loving life. That news.
Yep, Yonti and Nicholas Longe, they swap places as well. Yenab's actually looking to get past Yonti as well, sorry. He's not going to get it into the first part of Spoon. It looks like he's not going to get it into the second part of Spoon, so he might get it into 130i. In terms of tyres, they're on very different tyres. Mediums to hards.
Safso just stepped out there. Safso stepped out and Zones is going for the move now, just up the straight, going into 130i. They could be side by side. Safso just made a slight mistake, and that's just opened him up to Zones behind.
Yeah, very well read from Zones there to catch Safso's mistake and capitalise on it. Straight up now into P15, and he just cannot lose the cars ahead of him.
Yep, absolutely. He's got the chance now to get on the back of them. I don't know if Safso's tyres are maybe just a bit worn. Every time he seems to be putting down his right foot, that back end is just stepping out.
So Infamous on the back of Hypers. Hypers will have just been told, whoops, you may have got a hell of a penalty applied to you because of that mistake you made earlier. Nicholas Longe on the back of Tom97. These guys, like we said before, have really been showing their skill today. I think this is going to be a situation later where Nicholas will probably pass Tom. Tom will not fight him, I reckon. I think Tom will play that long game. He's a very smart driver when it comes to these sorts of scenarios, and he knows, okay, look, naturally Nicholas is faster than me. All I need to do is just stay with him, use that toe, help me get forwards by using the pace that Nicholas has got. So then get onto the back of some idiot, and then eventually pass him later on in the race, maybe even get himself a decent amount of points.
Yeah, that's the strategy there. I mean, there's a 2-second gap right now to some idiot, so if he can use Nicholas to get up to the back of him, even if he can't really stay in the slipstream, when Nicholas catches up to the back of some idiot and they start fighting, that's going to slow both drivers down, and that just opens the door to Tom.
You end up getting a 3-second time penalty, and I've just had a quick look, and that 10-second penalty that Hypers has got, not only does that knock him out of P7, it knocks him out of points altogether and puts him P19 if it finishes as is right now, as Tom's gone deep into the final chicane. Now Nicholas is going to pounce. He's read the scenario. Tom's going to give him the space. A little bit of a bump there for Nicholas to ride over. And yeah, look at that. As I said, Tom not going to fight him. He knows there's no point. This isn't going to work out for either of us if I do that. I just need to sit in his toe, just need to use DRS and help maintain this gap.
Yep, and that's Beaker just got past Safso as well. I think Safso was really struggling on these tyres. I think he might need to make a stop to the hards if he's struggling so much. I don't know, obviously, if he's having wear issues or if it is just a heavy right foot, but it's not working out for him right now.
I think it's a
bearing in mind he was P7 like a couple of times ago. Bearing in mind he was P7 a couple of laps ago.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Dropped down 10 positions, so it's not working out.
Somebody who has really looked in this race, Dennis Vyers, P5, right? On the DRS attack for Buemels, has actually got an opportunity to gain a huge amount of points if he can do this later. And for the first time, maybe if we can get the driver of the day vote accurate for once, we might actually see Dennis get the driver of the day vote if he can maintain this pace. Bear in mind though, Danico's here too. He's ready to snatch that from him and will absolutely lap it up if that opportunity arises.
Yep, absolutely. Dennis is having a great race, and as you say, the Dennis of the day vote most likely is going to him. So we'll see if he can maintain this for the rest of the race.
Oh, Zones and Yonti going side by side in towards the final chicane. It's going to be Zones who gets ahead now. That's great news for the McLaren team as they are P12 and 13. The gap between the two is a bit too far away at the minute, although Zones will still get DRS. Tom has now lost DRS on Nicholas. As you just seen, Nicholas chucked in the fastest lap of the session. Oh, he goes into the back of Samini. That was a bit of contact there, but no damage between them, and that's allowed him to still stay in this fight for big points later in this race. He can now look to close in the Drivers' Championship, and you can see Hyper's actually not that far up the field.
Yeah, the Nicholas there just proving that he has pace everywhere he goes. This is this is an incredible performance from him from last and getting damaged and then still coming through the pack with after the pit stop. So, yep, it's working out a little bit good for him now, and a much different turn of events to how it went last week.
Buemels, Dennis, Danico, and sort of Hypers are very much in this fight, and I'm actually really shocked by how poor Hyper's race pace is right now. Normally he's like smashing it. You saw his qualifying, he was fast, very fast. And ever since he got onto this set of medium tires, he's not really been able to do anything with them. He's really struggled completely. Infamous staying right there on the back of him, using that DRS, using that tow, using the ERS as well to help keep him in this fight. And he's on hard tires. He's taking these to the end. There's still a question mark. Can the mediums make it? As the soft runners have now checked themselves in and they've both decided to go onto the medium tire.
Yep, that's probably the correct call for them, getting rid of those boots now and trying to make up the rest of the race on the medium tyres. And yeah, as you say though, Hypers has been a little bit lacklustre in terms of, you know, we thought he would pick his way through the pack, but at the same time he's not too far off the lead on his teammate and Get On now. Now that the soft runners have came in, there's only a couple of seconds really between him and first place. So I guess now it's time for him to put the foot down, and hopefully, as I say, these tyres will go to the end, but that's still a question mark. The hard tyres will definitely make it.
See, the thing is now for Camille, yes, he had that massive knockback there he got from Hypers earlier. Obviously, yeah, Hypers has been penalised as a result of it, but Camille cannot back out. He cannot just let himself get shut down as a result of it. He has to bring himself into this. The Constructors' battle is still going on, and this is a race where he can get massive points in comparison to Mercedes. Nicholas almost going into the back of Felix. That was a very scary moment there for him. He did catch it, he did keep himself in this, and Pressure Knight has just passed Just Chilling as a result of the new tyres. But now look at the pace that Nicholas is chucking. Straight on past Brownie. Very easy, very simple overtake there, using that tow, using the exit speeds, and that worked out wonders for him. Buemels has actually dropped back there. He's had a major mistake, and Hyper's alongside of him. He doesn't want to get any more penalties, so he's taking it a little bit smarter than he did before. Infamous, ready to pounce if an opportunity comes up. Hyper's trying to get around the inside of Buemels. Buemels squeezing him through. Infamous is going around the outside. It's a two-car pass. Buemels loses out more than he wanted. And now he falls to P6. He's going to have to do a lot more to get back into this.
Yeah, that's right. And he's got a charging Nicholas Longay behind him, so he's most likely going to lose that position as well. Nicholas is absolutely flying.
Safso and Yolta, they've swapped places as well. Yolta's gone a little bit too deep there. These medium tyres are working for him. He's loving them at the minute, but it's still just trying to find his feet a little bit. The tyre grip is not going to be quite optimal. It'll probably be about now where he starts to feel really cozy. And remember, he's got a hard runner of Just Chilling ahead of him, but a very tight section of the circuit to overtake. He's going to have to look into the hairpin to potentially get this move done. Not to say he can't do it, but this is a very difficult overtake to go for. Yeah, and Pressure Knight is doing the same thing to copy, although Yolta has not been able to make it work on Just Chilling, so he's going to have to stay behind him at least for now. Pressure Knight up into P16, working these mediums beautifully. There's also a battle further ahead as Camille and Beaker are looking to go. I thought Camille was going to ride into the back of Beaker. That was a very, very tense moment between them. And I think he might actually get the run out of the corner, actually. He's looking so much faster than Beaker, not even using the tow. He doesn't need it. He's just straight on past Danico. He cuts that final chicane, gets that big 5-second penalty I was telling you about, and that's cost him.
And here we see Infamous as well doing what he does best, is he just cruises on up to the back, then starts saving his ERS, and it looks like he's putting a nose in, trying to get the guys in front to be a little bit nervous. But he knows Hypers has got a penalty, he's got this position from him, but if he keeps showing his nose and making Hypers kind of sweat, attack the guys in front, this is all Infamous for the taking. This could be a very comfortable win from him.
This is very much like the manager of the office standing right behind you whilst you're trying to work. Hypers is feeling very much like that worker. He's got somebody just constantly breathing down his neck, constantly reminding him he has to stay focused, he can't make a mistake because I'm watching and I will get you the second I can. And, and Hypers is managing
it. And at the moment, that man breathing down his neck is Infamous. And before then, he's had all the guys and chasing him. Nicholas has been on his back before. Camille, all the top guys have been always just very, very close to him. He's not won the races by major distances. And here, I thought Nicholas again and Spoon nearly spun out. Every lap he's coming through here, he's just back end sticking out. It's looking very uncomfortable for him, but he's certainly got the pace.
I should be back. Am I back?
Yes, indeed back.
My internet did the do again. It's rather frustrating. I should be rejoining the session and carry on as is for now, please.
No worries, I'll try my best to keep everyone updated, but we've just got here Hypers on the back of Danny, just 2/10. Looks like he's trying to just again show the nose and make Danny make a mistake, but he's not wanting to do any dives. He's just trying to keep behind and keep these guys in front of him going a little bit faster. He's still got quite a few laps remaining before he needs to make a move and get after his teammate, but right now he's just sticking behind them and making sure that they're having to work to defend their position. But Dennis up in P2, he's having an absolutely phenomenal race.
It's looking good. I think Dennis is in a very weird situation. I don't think he's used to this right now. Currently set up there on the podium step so early on in a race. This is brilliant territory for Dennis.
Yep, it absolutely is. He's, as you say, 2 seconds off the lead of the race. And yeah, it might not be used to it, but he's certainly making the most of the opportunity now. And he's keeping his nose clean and keeping the car pointing in the direction he wants it to. And and he just steps out and Spoon as well. It seems like everyone's kind of struggling with that turn.
It's a very awkward one. You want to get the power down as soon as you can, but you step on it a little bit too early. Back end steps out, and you could even fully rotate the car. There is a very fast pair of drivers coming up behind him as well. Well, triple drivers. Words. But Dennis is getting chased down by Danico. Hypers is hunting him too, and it's amazing to see that Hypers is Infamous just currently don't have the pace to pass them. Get Own is in the pits. He's decided now is the chance for him to get off those medium tyres and chuck on the softs. But 11 laps, 12 laps actually, on these tyres, is that doable?
It'll be tough, and I've actually just checked. I was under the impression Dennis came in under the safety car. He did not, so he also still needs to make a pit stop, and as does Danny behind him. So Hypers is now effectively sitting P1. So we've been debated a little bit, but it's all good. Still a very phenomenal race from Dennis so far. I mean, even when he comes into the pits, he can certainly be proud of the position he's been in.
So Hypers and Infamous are effectively net P1 as it stands. However, Hypers does still have the issue of, can I make these mediums go to the end? Infamous is the one who goes, I'm definitely taking these tyres to the end. This is surely going to be my Grand Prix. But then you have Nicholas as well right here too, and that's where the question marks start to come in. He has done a very great race so far. It's just, again, can he do the same thing? Can he manage these tyres to the end? Or is he going to need to chuck on some softs? I get the impression all of these guys that are on the mediums that hadn't pit like lap 12 onwards are going to have to pit again onto the softs.
I'm going to say the complete opposite. I don't think that there would have been so many drivers who put on the mediums on lap 1 if they didn't think that they were going to go to the end with them. I think that these guys have done their research, done their practice programs, and they know that those tyres will be a bit scary come the end, but they'll make it. And if that's the case, then the top 3 right now, or potential top 3 once Dennis takes his pit stop, will be Hypers, Infamous, and Nicholas Longay. But whether Hypers can even maintain a podium with that 10 seconds, we'll have to wait and see. Because again, those tyres will be at end of life come the end of this race, regardless.
See, now this is where it's a big question mark for Pressure too. Remember, he didn't pit. Him and Yolta decided we don't want to pit. We're going to wait until the normal strategy, and we'll see how that fares for us later. They've pit, they've come out, and Pressure is P12. And this is a big if the medium runners ahead of him have to pit because the tyres can't make it to the end, Pressure will climb like no tomorrow. I mean, he's already looking to pass Camille. Camille's 15 laps in on his medium, so in terms of tyre wear, there's an astronomical difference between them, and he should really be able to gain in here. Tom, he's in P6. He's had a great run so far, a massive climb in terms of his overall position pace. Dennis is being attacked by Hypers. Infamous is chasing them down, and Nicholas Longay is in the DRS and tow range of everything happening ahead of him.
Yep, he's certainly enjoying the moment. He can see his main championship rival just a few cars in front of him. He knows about the penalty, and he knows that Hypers is well aware that Nicholas is coming.
Oh, Dennis and Hypers have a big collision there together, and there's a massive squeeze there going on from Hypers again onto Nicholas Longe, who's right on the back of him. Dennis comes into the pits because he says he has to get onto the softs. I have no idea how Hypers is going to defend this. He's got the inside line into turn 1, but he's going to run deep into it. Nicholas Longe sees that, goes in. Big contact between them, but they're still fine. Nobody's off. Hypers giving him a little bit of a nudge back to remind him he's still there. Oh, that's a move and a half. I think it was... Oh, it was a very tense one. I would not like to be either of those drivers in the cockpit right now. That was such a squeeze. Yellow flag sector 2. That looks like it's one of the Red Bulls. Is that Beaker? That is Beaker. Beaker's had an issue. He's also got so little ERS, and he's got massive damage on left-hand side of his wing. He's going to be coming into the pits, and I would not be surprised if that is an early retirement.
Nicholas Longe as well also does not have much ERS to play with. When he was going for that overtake, he only had 13% left, and that, you know, calculated to perfection. He had just enough to get the move done, but yeah, I wouldn't have liked to be either of those drivers during that, and I certainly would not like to be the stewards after this race.
Yeah, definitely not. Nicholas Longe. Oh, Beaker getting 2 lots of 10-second penalties, and Nicholas gets his own penalty as well. I think that was just a simple 3-second. There's Beaker,
yes,
there's retirement, and that's the end of his Grand Prix.
Yep, so as it stands, Hypers will, you know, take second place from Nicholas until the steward's penalty applies post-race.
Yeah.
But right now, Nicholas doesn't care a jot about that. He wants to go hunting down Infamous and try and build up that gap so that 3 seconds does not apply.
And definitely not. So somebody on the back of Tom. Tom's actually doing a brilliant job holding down P5 as it stands. But again, it's what happens later. What happens when these tyres drop off? Are they going to be able to take them to the end? Tom's run really deep, and somebody is allowed to get in the inside line. And Tom's still throwing his car around the corner, but he does control it. Does keep himself on the grey stuff. And as a result, though, he will fall to P6.
Yep, I'm just keeping an eye on the soft runners just now, just to see that the pace that they have from the guys in front. Get Owned obviously got a couple of laps on those tyres now and trying to catch up to Camille in front. But yeah, I just think that a lot of the medium runners at the start of this race kind of not managed to make the most of their situation when the safety car came out, unfortunately, just due to the tyre choice that they were on.
So Prashna is in P10, and he's less than 4/10 between him and Yonti. There is a bit more of a gap between Yonti and Yena, but 1.5 seconds. But that can still easily be broken away, especially with the fact that Prashna has these such young medium tyres. I mean, he's taking these to the end, so this is an absolutely battle for position. You know that for sure. It's just Yonti, 17 laps in on these hards. He's surely not feeling comfortable right now. I have also got to inform you that Driver of the Day voting is now open, so make sure you type !vote in the chat to cast your vote to see who gets the Driver of the Day vote. Now, looking at it and looking at what I've seen in chat, it's looking like Dennis is going to get it. And I think for the first time in a while, I think he actually deserves it. Tom's in.
Yeah, Dennis has been driving remarkably well, and hopefully he can squeeze a few positions back and get back into that top 10. That would be ideal for him, getting some more points to add to his tally.
Oh, Yolta and Buemos are going to both get past Copy. Yolta's giving the toe to Buemos, unintentionally, of course. He doesn't necessarily want this to happen, but he's going around the outside of turn 1. Oh, he couldn't quite get that. There was no real gap for him to go. And Yolta will move up to P14. Copy loses 2 places. 18 laps on these hards. How is he going to make it any further?
I mean, the hard tyre will definitely go till the end, but yeah, he's certainly not got any pace on it, so you'd be saying that he's probably going to miss out on there goes Danny as well just now, and you might find that Tom will be there with him on a lap or 2, so yeah, he might as well take a gamble, come into the pits, see if he can do anything, but right now he's basically fighting for P19.
Yes.
P19, P18.
It's harsh times, really, overall. I mean, Tom has done such a good job to get where he's got. But, yeah, I mean, he's really just sort of now right at the back of it again. And it's going to feel very much like as negative a situation as can possibly be. You got Zones and some idiot having a moment as well, coming in towards the final chicane. It's going to be Zones getting the move done later, I think, on this home straight. They're both about the same age of tyres. Again, you've seen the medium runners having to come in and go onto the softs, and this is where Pressure Knight is going to come into his element a little bit more, as Zones has gone down the inside, made that move stick, and getting the new fastest lap with a 1:30.052.
Yep, and Dennis just taking JC there in the final sector. Had a little bit side by side, just the chicane, and then kept it through to the final turn and made it through on the straight. So Dennis now up to P12 and hunting down Get Owned and hoping that he'll be able to, as I say, get into that top 10.
So Sumidiot and Zones, they carry on as they were before, although Sumidiot is starting to lose a little bit of time to Zones, who's really reeling in Felix. So I don't know how Zones has just suddenly just clicked these mediums into action. They're just suddenly working. Everything's looking great for him right now, and he's already in DRS range for Felix. He just has to maintain this, and he has to worry about whether or not he can take these to the end. 6 more laps to go on these mediums. Some people think they can do it. These guys at the front, they believe they can do it, and they're making it work right now. Just how much time is going to be lost, though? There's such a huge... I mean, Hypers right now, bear in mind he's got a 10-second penalty to be applied at the end of the race, post-race. He's actually looking for a move on Nicholas. Oh, I thought he was actually going to send it down the inside. We saw what he did earlier with Camille, and it's going to be another Racing Point battle once more. DRS available to Hypers, but not Nicholas, and that's mainly due to the fact that Nicholas is on these old mediums, and he's got nobody ahead of him that he can use as tow. Hypers going around the outside. Oh, it's clipped him! Oh, Nicholas Longuet just catches the car right on time. Very well held by Nicholas to recover what could have been the end of his Grand Prix, but Hypers, not only has he got his elbows out, he's got extensions on those elbows, and he is flailing.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I'm going to have a little bit of a conspiracy theory here with... as we saw, Nicholas was absolutely charging through the field to get to the front to get into this fight. And as soon as he got in front of Hypers, he slowed right down, and Infamous managed to kind of go off into the distance. I think Nicholas's game right now is to get in front of Hypers and slow him into the pack, so that when that 10 seconds applies, he is out of all good point scoring positions.
Maybe. That's a hell of a request to pull off, though. Imagine trying to do that. That is such a hard thing to do when you got a driver who's able to match your pace in quite a lot of the races, and it sometimes even beat you in a lot of the races, you know? You have to give it the full beans in order to try and recover it. It's effort. I would love to see if that was the game plan. I don't think he'll ever admit to it, even if that was the case. But yeah, it's very suspicious. Here comes Pressure Schneider into Sumidia, into the chicane. Oh, he almost goes into the back of Felix there, but he does maintain the position, does get up there into P6, and already into the DRS zone of Felix, so he doesn't have to worry about whether he's going to lose that again from Sumidia, unless the tow pays off for him. But 10 laps more on these mediums surely means there's no way Sumidia's going to be able to bring this back.
Yeah, it'd be a tough ask, a very tough ask, but you know, right now it's got to the point where if you were going to pit, you would have pitted, so he's going to need to try and make the strategy work.
Alright, looking around the field, there's still a fair bit of battles going on. Yolta's actually had to come into the pits because he suffered some wing damage through turn 1. And he's going to have to get himself onto some softs. Ultimately, his race is done. I don't think he's actually going to be able to get into any points positions without massive amount of penalties being applied to the drivers ahead. There's a mistake there from Felix, which has allowed Pressure Schneider to close in a lot more than he was before. And the next car ahead of that is Zones, who is 6.7 seconds away from the battle for the podium. And Nicholas Longuet has lost to Hypers. We saw that earlier. And ultimately, he's just kind of biding his time now. I think he's applying pressure, like what Infamous was doing to Hypers. Just to try and maintain it.
Yeah, and Nicholas, right now, he's not going to lose any extra positions due to the 3-second penalty that he has, but he's certainly hoping that Hypers is going to lose a lot of positions come the end of this race once the penalties apply.
Pressure Schneider down the inside again. He loves this corner for Ascend, and he's made it work every time he's done it. He's up there now, ahead of Felix, and crucially, into the DRS zone of Zones. This will help him now, closing even more. Also help him manage his ERS a little bit. As you can see, he's been deploying a hell of a lot to try and bring himself into this even further, and he's going to need to manage it. We've only got 3.5 laps to go, well, 4 if you include the remainder of the one they're on right now. It's a question mark as to how much pace he's got left in these mediums to be able to close in 6.5 second gap.
Yeah, I don't think he will, honestly. It's a big ask, but right now Pressure is actually already sitting P4. Zones has a 3-second penalty applied as well, so it doesn't even need to overtake him. But you know, Pressure is definitely going to want to get past Zones and see if he can catch up to the back of Nicholas Longe, but it's a big ask. It's definitely a big ask.
The only thing that may happen that might make a difference in terms of that is if Nicholas and Hypers decide to start scrapping. I mean, the gap right now is 8/10. It has chopped and changed a fair bit, so it might not necessarily be the same. It, again, is a question as to what can you do here if you're in Nicholas's position. Your pace is struggling due to how much you have to deploy to keep up, to then close in onto Hypers. Yeah, granted, you just manage it now. You just sit on the back of him and let his penalty just take over. But at the same time, it's like you want that sort of glory for physically passing on the circuit. Yeah, it's an interesting scenario for Nicholas.
Yeah, and definitely you want to be in front, crossing the line anyway, just in case that penalty of Hypers gets removed. So obviously there is 100% chance that Mercedes are going to be appealing that decision.
Schneider and Zones went side by side through turn 1. He did manage to get past him in the end, but that was a scary moment there for Zones, who tried to stick it round the outside. He did run pretty wide into it, but kept himself very much on the tarmac, and that's still keeping him in P5. He's still got an opportunity to use the DRS and Toa to recover some ERS and just keep himself in P5. Well, P4 actually, if you think about it, because of the massive penalty that Hypers has got.
As Camille spun out there, just nearly got taken out as well, as he was sliding back into the track, and here he is just trying to regain position and get going again. But that's him slid out the top 10. JC and Danny have just passed him now as well. So this has worked out well for Dennis. He's only got one more position to gain, and then he will get that glory point that he's been after. He's only got 1 point in the championship just now. He's desperate to double that tally.
So Infamous is your race leader, 23 laps in on the hards. There is a 23 lap also for the mediums behind him on Hypers and Nicholas. But Nicholas has actually closed in massively on Hypers here. Look at this. DRS will be available for Nicholas here, and he will be able to just throw Hypers in the bin. Hopefully not literally, and just actually pass him on the circuit was what we're hoping for. Here's the toe. Look at the pace difference between them. It's not even now Hypers has turned DRS off. Nicholas is going to go right on through. And I think Hypers' game plan is here is, well, lap 26, you can be ahead of me, but lap 27, I will pass you. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, the DRS and the slipstream is so powerful in this game that, yeah, that can definitely be Hyper's game plan, is try and maintain the lead in the final lap. But yeah, as we said, that gap for Presschneider's just too big, even with those fresher boots. But certainly he's going to be benefiting once the Hyper's penalty is applied. If the appeal doesn't go through, we know that they'll be definitely appealing that. But yeah, from usually if the stewards make a decision in the race, it's pretty cut and dry what's happened, and the penalty's definitely deserved.
I mean, I had a very good view of that fight. I could see exactly what happened. I was on board with Camille as that happened and all unfolded. And yeah, he just had nowhere to go. He got forced off the circuit. He was lucky to keep himself alive, if I'm honest. But again, whatever the stewards decide, the drivers have the opportunity to appeal, but they would need to come up with some evidence to suggest that. I mean, it'd have to be a hell of an evidence for him to suggest, I actually don't deserve what I got, and here's why. I don't think you could actually come up with anything that would protect you from that one. But I do want to just talk about the biggest winners and biggest losers. Both titles, the biggest winner and the biggest loser, both of them go to Racing Point. 18 places gained for Nicholas Longe, 18 places lost for Camille. Here comes Danico into 130R alongside Just Chillin'. He's trying to get the move done, but he just hasn't got enough pace. He's trying to be as respectful as he can to JC and give him as much room as he can without forcing him off the circuit. 130R can be a bit of a pain, but I mean, ultimately, he's not really lost out. He's got DRS. JC has a little bit of a wobble there coming out of the final corner, and this is allowing the toe. This is allowing the DRS. He's going to take the outside line in towards turn 1, and Danico recovers back into P12.
Yep, and Hyper's made his attempt on Nicholas Longe as well during that, and he unfortunately stays behind. So, yeah, it's looking like right now this is Nicholas Longe's to lose really in this battle. And with the gap, however, for the 10-second penalty, it would be that Hypers will probably end up sitting somewhere around P7, P8. potentially even further. So still in the points, but unfortunately for him, he's definitely not going to be finishing on the podium once the penalty applies.
Yeah, definitely not. It's a big sad for Hypers, but ultimately, it's what you kind of get when you do those sorts of moves. If you're going to shove someone out and give them nowhere to go, then you got to expect some sort of consequence as a result. Is he going to go again then? We know Infamous is going to take the win, a very well-deserved one indeed. He read the scenario perfectly, chucked himself on the hards, and crosses the line to take the 25 points. Nicholas Longe will cross the line in P2 after such a huge pullback. Hypers will jump in physically on the circuit, but when it comes to the penalties the stewards are going to apply, Hypers will fall like a stone. So Preschneider takes P4, Zones takes P5, Felix taking P6, or Brownie. Somebody taking P7, Yonti gets 8th, Geton takes 9th, Yenab gets 10th, with Dennis looking to take best of the rest. Oh, he loses out, the penalty's applied, he falls to P13. It's Danico who gets the best of the rest award. Tom97 getting P12, Just Chillin gets P14, and then we got Buemels, Copy, Safso, Yolta, and Camille.
Yep, and everyone doing the victory smash into the wall. Once they cross the line, there's like absolute carnage on that start-finish straight.
Oh, it's not even over, actually. Yolta and Safso are swapping places. Safso's going to hold him out. Is he going to make it across the line? Yes, he is. Stays ahead. Camille will recover to... Well, I say recover as in he kept himself alive. Mainly... Oh, never mind. He's just gone straight into this carnage of cars that's on the home straight. There it is. Wow, what a Grand Prix that was. That one literally had battles from the word go, and it didn't end. Infamous is the one who takes the win. He gets a huge point advantage now in comparison to Mercedes. When it comes to the constructors, they are closing in rapidly, based on the fact that Hypers and Geton are going to score very low amount of points. Infamous taking the win then. I don't think he got the fastest lap. Note that will go to Preschneider, I believe. Yes. Oh, wow, by a thousandth. That's all it was.
I think
thousandth
Yolta
of a
actually.
second. Who, sorry?
I think Yolta actually got it on my screen there. He's
Oh, he's actually within the top 10, isn't
yeah, he's
it?
actually in the top 10, but he's got it on.
But yeah, he will still secure that, which is good. So Hypers get P2 for now until the stewards get hold of him. Nicholas in P3, Preschneider P4, Zones P5, Felix P6, Smitty at P7, Yonti P8, Geton P9, Yenab P10, with Danica getting P11, Tom 12th, Dennis 13th, Jesse 14th, Buemels 15th, Copy 16th, Safsa 17th, and Yolta 18th place, with Camille getting 19th. And our only DNFer, and it was voluntary, is Beaker. Now, it leaves me to ask one final question. Who is your driver of the day?
I mean, Dennis drove a great race, but I think you've got to give it to Nicholas Longe. That was a hell of a drive through the pack, finishing on the podium like that. It's certainly the second time now he's showed us that he can come through the field, and yeah, I think that was a great drive from him.
A very well-driven drive indeed. I believe driver of the day is Dennis. For the Dennis of the day. Driver is your Dennis of the day. We are now going to move into interviews with our top three. We will probably go to... We'll go with our existing top three. So it's going to be Nicholas in P3. So we're going to get him into the commentary booth first. And then we'll go to Hypers and then to Infamous. Nicholas Longe, last to what driver? How you doing?
Hello, guys.
How was your race? Your qualifying, non-existent, obviously.
I think I calculated the race very well. I put softs at the beginning on purpose. I was expecting a safety car, so I could just pit to the mediums and go to the end from there straight away, and I could jump all the people in front of me that started on mediums. And then I heard about the 10-second penalty for Hypers, so I just decided, okay, let's just overtake him straight away, wait no time, and try to hold them up as much as I could to make him drop more positions. Well, Infamous was too far ahead with his hards, and the mediums really dropped off towards the end of the race. Especially, I used them quite a lot at the beginning, try to overtake all the cars in front of me. But yeah, and I think then I should be P2 since he has a penalty. So P20 to P2. I'm very happy with that.
Now, Obviously, there was a point in that race where Hypers received a 10-second penalty from the stewards due to his maneuver, if you want to call it, on your teammate. When did that message come to you? Because it looked like as soon as that message came, it looked like you just suddenly went, "Oh, I gotta go. I gotta get on with this."
I mean, just the way that Camille explained to me what happened, I know, like, there's no way you can't penalize that. Like, I don't understand sometimes what people are doing. I saw he wasn't too far away after the safety car. I was always pushing no matter what, even if he didn't have a penalty. I would have won even if he didn't have a penalty, because my 3-second penalty was due to like going off track to avoid a car. So I would have gotten that removed, but doesn't seem like I need to anymore. Yeah, I mean, I got that message like halfway through the race. Yeah, and that's it pretty much.
Well, I mean, overall, you're probably going to move up to P2 should the penalty stick. So still a very high point scoring drive today. I think you should be very happy with yourself. But next week, that's the bit I'm worried about for you. Are you worried about the next race?
I don't know what's next track.
Well, I'm gonna have to check as well now.
I believe it's Mexico.
I believe it's Mexico, but I also thought it was USA because I think 2018 was it that we saw. It is Mexico, yes. Yep. How's your pace in Mexico?
No idea, no clue. Well, I'm guessing I will.
So confident.
That's just a penalty track. I don't know. It's just gonna be a train with a long straight. It's kind of broken DRS there, so I don't know. Just have to get lucky with a safety car or battling behind to break the DRS. Otherwise, it's hard to tell who will win.
There was a moment in that race in the Japan race where we saw Dennis managing to hold back Hypers. I just need to ask, how much did you pay him to do that?
You don't want to know too much.
All right, no, but seriously, going into Mexico, give me a prediction. I want to hear where you're going to finish.
Man, well, I have to finish P1. There's no other choice. Like, there's not much else I can do now in the championship. So,
do you think you can bring it back?
Well, if he does something stupid, yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna be hard.
Well, congratulations on your current P3, but likely going to be P2 overall, and look forward to seeing what you can deliver next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you. See you soon. All right, let's get the controversial man of the hour in here, Mr. Hypers. Let's start with qualifying, shall we? So qualifying, you drove brilliantly. You had a lot of pace. Camille obviously then just nailed it initially and brought it up. How were you feeling?
Qualifying was pretty good, I will say that much. Unfortunately, I invalidated the last run, which was a 26.4, so I would have pole position in the end, which was kind of disappointing, but starting P2 is still good. I'm still towards the front. I'm still behind Camille. So yeah, for the first few races, for the first time in a while, I actually did an all-right qualifying session, and I'm happy from that.
Good. Now, obviously, we'll come into the race. So, initially, lap 1, you saw safety car. You decided it's time to pit for the mediums. Did you know at that point the mediums were going to take it to the end, or was there a moment of doubt?
I was pretty sure. I knew that would be near the puncture zone, but my setup was quite lenient on the tires, and I also think I am quite nice to the tires with my driving style. So I was pretty much confident that I was gonna make it from lap 1. The decision would come down to whatever Camille does. But since he pitted, I decided to follow him because in the end, Racing Point is our rivals in terms of constructors, and this was basically my only option to do whatever my main rival.
Now we'll talk about the elephant in the room, the final corner between you and you and Camille. Just explain from your perspective what happened.
Well, basically, I'm gonna say straight away, I disagree with the penalty. I went into the last corner. It was obviously a mess. Camille tried to move around the outside. It didn't really work for him. He had to cut the corner. He was a bit squeezed there, but over that last corner, which is it's like a huge bump, there is no way you can go side by side there. It's too dangerous. And Camille did the right thing. He just lifted off on the left-hand side, but for some reason, I don't know, he was still there. And the bump put my car in a bit of oversteer, so I had to correct it, and that's why there was a bit of contact. But I think I completely disagree with the severity of the penalty. It's I just don't know how that deserves 10 seconds when it was literally for me a racing incident, because that bump is just too tricky to even go side by side with. So I don't know what Camille tried there. Maybe he was trying to lift off. I don't know, but I feel like just purely looking at the fact that this bump is a thing and how much it can unsettle your car, I don't feel like why for an incident in that corner I would get a 10-second penalty. So I completely disagree with that, and I'm going to appeal it. But yeah, completely ruined my race, ruined a good result. Yeah, just disappointed because I don't feel like that was justified.
Well, we'll let the stewards handle the incident. We'll see. I don't know. Obviously, from my perspective, I saw one thing. From what you're saying, you saw another. But it's by the by. Let the stewards do what they got to do. Appeal it where you feel necessary. But either way, regardless, you still had a strong race following that incident. You did manage to keep everything pretty much all tidy. I didn't really see any major issues. There was a lot of side-by-side battles, especially a moment between you and Nicholas. There was a moment there where you clipped the front wing. I don't know if you saw this. You clipped Nicholas's front wing going through turn 1 as you overtook him. It was like lap 25, I think, or something like that, maybe lap 24. You clip his front left and he gets rotated, but he catches it just nicely. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that, but I feel like the first move of Nicholas was also, I don't know, what was he thinking? I just got dive bumped from mouse behind by Nicholas for some weird reason. I guess that was kind of a revenge for Camille, but I don't know. But yeah, it was good battling with someone. Maybe not too cleanly, but I guess battle is a battle. And yeah, that first move from Nicholas cost me the chance to keep up with Infamous. And yeah,
I think realistically, his hard lap stint was pretty much the bit that made the difference there. He was going to have the pace no matter what, and all he had to do was just stay with you. I think as soon as you saw he was on your backside for as long as he was, you knew there was not really much you could do there. Just stay and fight as much as you can. But anyway, congrats on your P2 as it stands until the penalty is applied, and you'll fall wherever you fall to. But Mexico next week, do you think you can deliver there?
Well, it's a slipstream train. I think we don't have any track left where you can really make the difference with your pace, like here in Japan. So I guess we again gonna see a safety car on lap 1. Again, I expected it to happen, and right before the race, we were like, "Yeah, what are we doing if there's a safety car lap 1?" So, yeah, I mean, looking forward to it. I won AOR there last season, which is a good motivation and a sign that I have the pace. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. The constructors getting closer, especially with Haas closing in now. The drivers is also gonna be literally it's literally getting closer. So yeah, championship is still on, and we need full focus going forward.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your performance today. We'll see how it goes going forwards, and I very much enjoyed watching your race today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, the winner. The man who gets the big 25 points, Infamous. Oh, what a race for you, sir. Your qualifying went off quite nicely. You were right there in that top 4. You were all 4 of you within 1/10 of altogether.
Crazy.
And then coming into the race, you saw the safety car and you read it perfectly. Why didn't you go for the mediums, just out of curiosity?
Well, before the race had even started, Yonti was talking to me like, what happens if there's a safety car on lap 1? Do we take the mediums or the hards? And I was like, I think mediums are only useful from around lap 7. So I thought just to make sure you can push the whole race, take hards. And then, it happens. And then I see everyone else go on to mediums, and I was like, oh my God, have I messed up here? And you see that wasn't the case, having to battle through so much traffic at the end of those soft guys who didn't pit. And that just let me hold on to Hypers, but I think I had really good pace on the hards, to be honest. He wasn't pulling away from me, and I was able to save a good amount of fuel, good amount of ERS, and it really paid off in the end.
Now, you were stuck behind the Camille Hypers battle, and I'm sure you saw it all unfold. Just from your perspective, what happened?
They were battling really, really hard, side by side, for a lot of the start of the race, and it was getting pretty feisty, and I knew one of them was going to come off the track at any point, and it happened to be Camille on this occasion. He wasn't left too much room on the exit of the corner, and yeah, that was it really. And he went spinning. He went, or whatever happened to him, he dropped a load of positions. So feel sorry for him for that. But yeah, I had Hypers' getting a penalty for that.
So at what point did you receive that information? Because it looked like you were just kind of relaxed as soon as that penalty came in. You were like, oh, well, I mean, I can carry on doing the exact same pace I'm doing already, but now I have no pressure.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know until after the race. Yonti told
really?
me. So I just assumed they'd be investigated after. So I just did what I normally do and just kept it controlled because we didn't have an engineer this race. Noosa was away, so it was just me and Yonti. We weren't getting any sort of extra information, so we just treated it like a normal race. And yeah, I mean, it's I guess it would have been a bonus to know that to begin with, but maybe it wouldn't have ended up this way if I did know that. So.
Now, I'm glad you actually raised that because I've never actually asked in an interview, and I've not actually asked any of the drivers for their feedback on that. But from your perspective, do you feel the race engineer makes a difference in the race?
I think it definitely can. Sometimes it's really useful to know like exactly what's going on with people's ERS and people's tire wear and people's penalties and all that. And you have all that information for free basically with the engineers. And Positive Noose is a really great guy, and we have a lot of banter during the race. Even though we probably should take it a little bit more seriously. But yeah, we have a good working relationship, let's say. So yeah, it's nice to have.
Well, I mean, 25 points in your pocket in terms of your constructors, that's really important. But especially for your drivers too. We're coming into the later stages of the driver standings. It's a question of now where will you slot in as we go. But yeah. Constructors is still very much the fight that we're all praying for now. Haas in this. Racing Point right there behind you, hunting you down too. You've got to be feeling pretty confident right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we can keep on getting double points finishes and take advantage of where the Racing Points and the Mercedes slip up, I mean, sky's the limit. And if Mercedes go the way they are, I mean, it's going to be really unlikely that we catch them. We're probably like 60 points behind, but we'll keep on going to the end of the season and see where we slot in, as you say.
Final question then. Next week is Mexico. Where do you predict yourself being?
I mean, I've won this race. Let's start a little bit of a roll here, shall we?
Oh, yes. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Oh, yes. Infamous, I hope you deliver it again next week as you did today. Congratulations on your race win. That is one thing that definitely will not be changing. And very, very well deserved.
Cheers, pal.
Thank you very much. And that's it for the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Japan. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. I've been Ben Rag McConnell as per always, and joining me has been the incredible Horned Badger. I don't know where you've been all my life, but I am so glad you're here. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week for the Mexican Grand Prix.